Hey guys, Q here in Bend, Oregon. Just got done paddling at Drake Park. Fantastic day. The sun's out, the water's flat. Was out on the 12-foot 6-inch Chelan Air by Stand on Liquid, as well as the 11-foot 6-inch Ranger that's in our lineup. What we're going to address today is the difference between inflatables and rigid boards. And there's three big questions or things that before you pull the trigger on a board, these are questions that frequently get asked to us. One of which is, do I go with an inflatable or do I get a rigid? So let's start with storage. Storage is huge. If you don't have a dwelling, a house, or a garage that's big enough to store a board that's between 10 and 14 feet long, they're big objects. So you got to make sure you have a place to properly store them. If the answer to that is no, if you're a gearhead, if you got a ton of bikes and skis and other toys in the garage, but you want an SUP, go inflatable. You can deflate that, put it in a bag, put it in the corner of the garage, throw it in a closet in the house. It's out of the way, it doesn't take up a ton of room. If you could store a board that is between that 10 and 14 foot mark, you can go with the rigid board by all means. So that's a big key, is just like storage, straight up. Number two is transporting. So let's say you've got a car or a motorcycle or a smaller vehicle and you don't have racks, but you know you're going to travel a bunch and you want to get it from point A to point B, even if you fly. The inflatable boards are great because, like I said, put them in a backpack, you can throw it in the trunk, you can strap it on your back, you can check it on the airplane, and when you get to your final destination, you know you've got a board that suits your needs. A lot of times when you travel and you rent a board, you get on something that's not quite what you're used to or offer the performance that you want. If you've got a car with a rack and you can get it from point A to point B, just throw it up there, strap it down, fantastic. A couple different feelings that boards have on the water. The rigid boards, naturally, they're stiff. So when you are in turbulent, choppy conditions, that board stays true and is gonna hold a really rigid base for you to paddle on. Inflatables, they don't really have stringers in them to hold that board totally flat. So as you do get on some more choppy waters, you might feel it caterpillar a little bit. It doesn't kill you out on the water. It still offers a really fantastic paddling experience, but you just have to know that going in, because there are upsides to that. So I don't know, inflatable, rigid, which way do you go? The other thing to consider is like the waters you're in. If you're going to be shooting some whitewater, you might want to go with an inflatable, because as that bumps off from rocks, it's going to be really forgiving. Whereas if you're on an epoxy board and you're banging into rocks, you're going to run into trouble. So I'm Q. These have been some Q tips. We're here at Bend, Oregon, Drake Park. Just got done paddling. Thanks for joining me. If you want more info on the 12.6 Chelan Air or the 11-foot 6-inch Ranger, check out our YouTube channel, Stand on Liquid. If you got questions, call us. Email us, sales@standonliquid.com. Thanks for joining me.